Hello everyone, and welcome to JWK Explains episode 2. In the previous episode, we talked about competitiveness, and I explained that athletes can either be ego or mastery oriented. If you haven't checked out that episode, I highly suggest you do so because a lot of what I'll be talking about today requires that you understand these two concepts. If you've already watched the last video, you know that athletes can be both ego and mastery oriented, and that their orientation depends on their personality and the situation. For instance, when I go out and play in my competitive volleyball league, I'm quite ego oriented. I compete for every single point and try to get a victory in the end. But when I go out to my hockey class, a sport that I've only recently picked up, I'm completely mastery oriented. I'm just trying to work on my skills and get better at them. However, something that I didn't talk about in the previous episode is that the environment in which you compete can have a big influence on your orientation. Research looking into these environments states that we should always try and implement a mastery environment because this will lead to lower anxiety, less cheating, and generally athletes that are having more fun without sacrificing performance. Remember that every single high-level athlete is highly mastery oriented. So it makes sense when you take this into account. So today, I want to explain 4 ways that you can use to create a mastery climate for both yourself and your fellow competitors. The biggest thing anyone can do to create an environment in which mastery orientation is promoted is to remove any value from winning or beating others. So instead of asking, "Did you win?" you can ask, "How did you do? Did you have fun? Or did you play well?" This allows everyone to respond to your questions in a mastery-oriented way, but funnily enough also allows everyone to respond to your question in an ego-oriented way. I have a lot of personal experience with this strategy. Whenever I would come home as a kid from my soccer matches, my mom would ask, "How did you do?" Sometimes I would say, "Oh, I did great, I played very well." But sometimes I would also say, "It was terrible, I lost." The way the question is asked allows me to choose whether I want to respond in a mastery or ego-oriented way. And this creates an environment in which people are free to express their orientation the way they like it. Another way of creating a mastery environment is by setting challenging goals that are within your control. This will allow you to focus your attention on personal growth and improvement. So for instance, let's say you set the goal, "I am going to score 3 times every time I play." This goal is not optimal. You are not in control of that. Maybe you don't get the puck or the ball that often, or the goalie on the other side is just really good. But if you set the goal as, "I'm going to try and drive for the goal consistently," you are now in control of executing that. This will allow you to focus on nothing else than just trying to improve and beat yourself. In the end, if you reach that goal, it will probably lead to a positive outcome anyway. A third way of creating a mastery environment for yourself and others is by complimenting and rewarding effort and growth. I know a lot of people like to reward themselves for exercising or engaging in competition or sports. I know that I'm more likely to have a pizza after a night where I play very well compared to when I don't play very well. And this reward system can be a great way for people to stay motivated to engage in these kinds of activities. However, when you link the rewards to outcomes such as winning or beating other people, you lose control over it, and it might actually have the opposite effect of what you were trying to do. So have you been working on your serve lately? Reward yourself for having a good serving night rather than the amount of aces you made. On top of that, if you see or know that somebody else has been working on learning a new skill, try to compliment them on their effort and their growth. You can say something like, "Hey, I know that you've been working on trying to dunk a basketball. That's a really hard skill and I think it's great that you are putting so much effort into it." When rewarding and complimenting effort and growth in this kind of way, people will feel more inclined to work harder and really want to improve to the best they can be. Having a personal mantra, a phrase or a few words that you repeat to yourself while playing, can have a great effect on increasing focus and attention, motivation, and even confidence. But it can also be a great tool that can keep your mind thinking mastery. Words such as keep trying, effort over results, and beat myself can be great mantras to keep having a mastery approach. Figuring out which words or phrase works best for you is a personal process which a mental performance consultant can really help you with. And if you say your mantra out loud, it might even have a positive effect on your teammates and even your opponents, and help them to also approach their play in a mastery way. There are many ways to create a mastery environment, and I strongly believe that you can improve the quality of the environments in which you compete by using the 4 strategies I explained today. In the end, look at ego and mastery environments this way. If you take a soccer match of 11 versus 11 players, in a purely ego environment, only 11 players can walk off the pitch happy and satisfied. But in a mastery environment, all 22 players can walk off the pitch feeling that way. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. Comment down below what you think about the strategies, how you're using them, and other things you were thinking while watching this video. And please make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you in the next episode.